So today what I wanted to do is from what we discussed about the dukkha. I mean, we have covered almost every aspect of it, including the samadhi portion of it, where first you have to have the samatha, then vipassana, then anupassana. It's not that I stop something and then it becomes vipassana, then it becomes anupassana. It's not like that. It is how we start with samatha, so when the mind becomes tranquil, then we get into the vipassana. So now we come to the next section, which is also spoken in the Mahasatipatthana Sutta. It is about Pajanana. It's from two words, pa and janana. Janana in Hindi or in any Indian language is to know, just to know. Pajanana is about the beginning, middle, and the end. That's Pajanana. Anything that has a beginning, middle, and the end. So if you're watching the breath, beginning of the breath, middle portion of the breath, and ending of breath. So meaning to say, if I'm taking an in breath, I know that the breath has gone through the nostril and it is touched somewhere here, that the chest is expanding and then the abdomen is expanding, and when the breath is going out, and I know that it is contracting and the chest is contracting and the breath is again touching back here and coming out. So can I completely be in that, knowing every breath passing by? Can I do that? If yes, then that is pajanana. If I take breath. Now, if I take something else, let's say I take a dhatu, can I have the beginning, middle, and the end? Now, this is slightly difficult, but you can do it. What you can do is, like when I was a child, I can look at that body, the beginning, then schooling, another thing, middle, and I'm ending it. So something like that. So it's very gross, but it gives you a great effect. If you don't want to do a breath one, you can take anything else as an object, but you can have beginning, middle, and the end. So you need to know ultimately the beginning, middle, and the end of everything.
That is the beginning, middle, end of the Rupa, right?
Yeah, beginning, middle, and the end of the Rupa. I'm beginning, middle, and end of the Vedana. Beginning, middle, and end of the Sanya, Sankhara, and Vijnana. And we have know all the five aggregates. Then you have grasped what should be known. Okay? So you have understood what needs to be understood. Everything has a beginning, the middle, and the end. Or forgetting the middle, you can have beginning and the end. Samudaya Vyaya, Samudaya Vyaya, Samudaya Vyaya, Samudaya Vyaya for everything. Rupa Samudaya and Vyaya of it. Vedana Samudaya, Vyaya of it. Like that. In either which way I take it, it becomes Pajanana. That means I'm knowing it. I'm knowing it. And when I start knowing it, it keeps on increasing Sati. So my awareness of the beginning, middle, end starts to show up. The best practice around is on the breath and slowly bringing in the vipassana section of it, which is Sampajañña, wherein I start seeing the dukkha. Now, where does Indriya Samvara fit in? Indriya Samvara fits in when I start with the Pajanana, then I am slowly looking at withdrawing the conceptualization, which involves two things. One is that I need to have a symbolization and I need to describe it. So can I just see the breath without describing it and without having a nimitta? It means symbolization. Same thing with Rupa, Vedana, Sanya, Sankhara, Vijnana, something like that. So if I can take that and start working for a long period of time, you will not only enter into the jhanas, but you will also be completely aware of what is happening to you, meaning what is happening to anyone at that point in time. meaning you will know everything happening in your body, everything happening in your sight, everything happening in your sound, taste, touch, smell, and thoughts. For the thought to happen, the five senses should be there. Otherwise, no thought will ever take place. Okay. So if you have images, it means that the thought pattern has started. It requires these five inputs to make a thought. Otherwise, what is there to think? There can't be any thinking without that. You have seen something, and that is getting into thought. If you're hearing something, that's getting into thought. If you're tasting something, that's getting into thought. What if you have Indriya Samvara? Basically, only hindrance exists there, nothing else. So you start working out on the hindrance. So if I develop Pajanana to know it beginning, middle, and the end, then it leads on to, that means the samatha automatically leads on to vipassana. It's just one step up, that's it. It's not that I get into vipassana. No. There's nothing going, getting, doing something. It's just there. You just enter into it as a natural way. Just like I enter into the bed and go to sleep in a natural way. I don't have to do anything to sleep. It just happens. In the same way, when I have Pajanana, Sampajañña happens. Okay. Now coming back to Sampajañña or Sampajanana. For Sampajañña to happen, you need to have Sati. Otherwise, no Sampajañña. That's the reason it's called Sati Sampajañña. So first I need to develop is Pajanana. And in the entire Masatipatthana Sutta, the first section in all the four, that is the Kayanupassana, Vedananupassana, Chittanupassana, Dhammanupassana, it is Pajanana. We've seen that. Carefully, if you observe, start with Pajanana. Pajanati. So Satova Asasati, Satova Passasati, Hikamba Asasanto Asasami iti Pajanati. So how does a long breath happen? So when you take a breath, it's long because it is going like so, such a long feel. Oh, the time I breathe in and the time the abdomen expands, it's such a long time. It's a long breath. Then you can have a short breath. And the third one is no breath. Why? Breath is connected to mind. So when you start observing the breath, five senses withdraw automatically. So you're not giving anything. There's no food for the senses. So they just withdraw. The consciousness withdraws from those, and the mind, whatever you call mind, chitta, or consciousness, or mind, whatever we can put that as, is only now on. So you are watching, the breath is going like this. It's a beautiful experience to have. You are there, the breath is moving. You are there, the body is moving. You are there, eating. You are there, hearing. You are there, smelling. You are there, seeing. You are not seeing. You are there and seeing. You got the point. There's a whole difference. I am seeing, already there. You are there and seeing. So, Sampajanakari hoti will happen if I have this established properly, that Pajanana. Asasami iti pajanati. I know I am breathing. I know. I am not breathing. I know I am breathing. There's a huge difference. It's not I am breathing. I know I am breathing. The knower. That's the most important. The person who is witnessing the breathing is not the person who is breathing. It's just watching the act of breathing. So can you see the action alone? That's Pajanana. And in the 4 postures also, I'm sitting. I know I am sitting. It's not I am sitting. I know I am sitting. I know I am standing. I know I am walking. I know I am sleeping. It's not I am standing. I know I am standing. If you read it properly, that is what it is. If you open DN22 and read once that section about standing, sitting, walking, sleeping, 4 postures. Again, Pajanana. Just open. Whatever is there in English also, it says the same. So, hitomi iti pajanati. Nisinnomi iti pajanati. Right. It's a beautiful experience. You are not walking. You're watching the walking. You are not sitting. You're watching the sitting. You're not standing. You're watching the standing. You're not sleeping. You're watching the sleeping. You are a witness to all of this. But you don't have anything to do with it. Like a gatekeeper watching who is coming in and going out. If I am able to do it in the postures, if I am able to do it in the breath.
Yeah, Titomi is the first person as by language.
Yes.
And Pajanati is the third person.
Yes.
By language, grammatically I'm saying.
Yes. So the first person is only the witness. So can you experience something like that? That's a different experience. Then the sleep goes away. Meaning the sati will be established. So the sleep goes away. Sleeping in the sense that not being aware goes away. And when the not being aware goes away, then you are in self-awareness. This is Sampajañña. It's not a fight. It's not a, oh, I need to know. Oh, no, nothing like you need to know. You already know. But you are just a witness to that knowing. You're not doing anything. The senses are doing it. You're watching it. It's like 5 children are coming and going and coming and going. But you don't have anything to do with children. You're just watching them over. One child will run towards the sea and you say, hey, come here. Why are you going there? Come, sit. If you are also running along with them, then you are already in that water. That's the normal person. And this is an advanced meditator. That's the only difference between a normal person and a meditator. He's not jumping into the pool along with the children. Actually, he was supposed to watch over the children, but he himself became a children. So he is also in that pool and they are also in the pool. So this is the practice of Pajanana, Sati and Sampajañña. So for developing Sati, you require Pajanana. Along with Sati, along with Sila. So can we do it? Right now also you can do it. You just watch your breath. You can watch the breath as though you are breathing, which will not give you that effect. You can watch the breath as just a witness. That will give you a beautiful, instantaneous effect. And the advantage of that is you can be watching breath without any effort. And in fact, you will be eager. Somebody is talking and you're not bothered about it. You're hearing and you're witnessing the breath. You're not breathing. And when the breath stops, you are a witness to that stop. You're not worried that, hey, the breath is stopped, or you're not interested in knowing why the breath stopped. Yes, Matt.
Okay, so you said when you can do this, the sati is established, which is your remembrance. So that's really what'll help you work on your hindrances.
Yes, yes. So,
Okay, because
yes, they all happen together. The reason why I'm not able to watch the breath is because of a hindrance. Right. So now, like he puts there, Hitomi iti pajanati. Just take that. Hita means to stay, stand. Me iti, me, mine, me, myself. Standing knows that I am standing. I know that I am standing. It's a huge difference between I am standing, I know I am standing. I'm not getting it. Why? Because of hindrance. So, what can be the hindrance? Restlessness can be one hindrance. Because my mind is restless, it is not able to see. Right? I know I am talking. I am not talking. I should have that. Then no lie will come. You got the point. Now you can put it in everything. I know I am talking. I know I am listening. I know I am talking. I know I am doing this. I am doing that, etc., etc. So when I get engrossed in that activity, there is no I knowing. There's nothing to know. You already caught up. I'm supposed to watch like a Baywatch. I'm supposed to watch, but somehow I saw one woman swimming. I thought instead of watching the people, I went and jumped into the water and now I'm swimming. Forgotten all about it because Sati is not there. So either it is Kamachanda, interest for sensual, which pulled me out of it instead of a watcher, or Vyapada. I got irritated with something and that pulled it. Dhinamida became very lazy. We'll see later what is there. Pajanati. Okay. So the first step is take a little, and don't put a timeline. 20 minutes I will sit, half an hour I will sit, 1 hour it's going to be hitting the mind at a place where the restlessness can be created. Like how Aryu is sitting, he can be watching his breath. It doesn't matter. It need not be that I sit straight and I have to put a cross-legged and watch here, watch there, or no, you see. No, first relax. Okay. What is supposed to do? Watch the breath and see if the hindrance is there. You are not able to watch the breath. The sati is not there.
Sati is not there.
Pardon?
Sati is not there. What should I do now?
Work out on the hindrance. So you have to see your own hindrance.
What workout? What is the practice to work out?
Practice to work out is that there are two portions of it. The first portion, why the sati is not there, is the sila. Not the sila like 5 precept and all that. So I have to see what is that which is causing me to not establish sati. Or I have a michcha sati, meaning it is establishing, but it is establishing in an item or in an object.
Actually, we all are in this zone. Maybe you are different, but rest all who are listening to you is actually into this circle where we are saying, what if sati is not working? The whole practice is this: what if sati is not working?
Correct. So first I need to question myself why I am forgetting. forgetfulness. Actually, I can't remember. That is recollection, remembrance, forgetfulness. All is what Sati is all about. That means you remember to watch the breath, and few minutes down the line, no breath is washed. Then I move to another object. Then that also I don't watch. Then I move to another object like that. Why?
And any solution is not going to work within a day. It
No,
will
it
take
is not going to work out in a day.
months.
Yeah, so it should be a consistent thing. So the sila is a consistent activity, and that's the reason he says samadhi yami. That means first I need to work out on the samadhi of the precept. Meaning, I need to look at the drawback of existence, and the sila automatically comes. What is drawback of existence? I'll give you an example, which I practice. Take an example of a convict. A guy is convicted for a crime and he's been put 50 years for either shooting him or putting his neck in a noose. And he says that they say that, okay, you will be hanged till death, but you have 50 years. But you should be in the jail. Okay, now nothing can be done. He can't reject, he can't say no to it, he can't do anything. So it's fine. In my case, I'm a convict, but I can be put behind as hanged till death or hit by a gunshot anytime. I think in that way. At least that guy with a 50 years can enjoy the sensuality for 50 years. In my case, it can be any time. If I put something like that, what happens? And keep on thinking on that, and as soon as it fades away, bring it back. What if you are killed in the next 5 minutes or 10 minutes or half an hour, 1 hour, like that? Sati automatically gets established there, and sila comes on its own. I don't have to practice sila. It's like practicing sila will never happen. Any activity you give which will tell you to practice, it will run away because it's an effort. If it is part of your life, you don't feel anything. See, that's a reason hobby is something which you love. Why? Because you don't have to put effort there. But let us say somebody tells me, Vilas, I need you to paint, and I'm not a painter, but he says that no, we want you to paint. Oh, give me a theme. No, you think. I don't have a theme. Give me something. And I do my best. Why? It's an effort. I don't like it. I'm being forced to do it. So, sila forced will never happen. It should be natural. And when it becomes natural, when you put something to it, to the mind, saying that, look, you get killed right this moment, and you have a rebirth, suffering. So the dukkha seeing will create all kind of things for you. You're able to see the dukkha even for 5 minutes. Normal dukkha, not the in-depth dukkha, the normal one. Like you have to keep on preparing food, morning, afternoon, evening, keep on snacking, keep on drinking water. Dukkha. See, people kill each other for food and shelter and clothing and medicine and all of this. Right? If the water supply is not there, you can see the fun. If the food is not there, let us say rice goes away, and the countries which were supplying rice will say that no, I cannot supply. Or the fuel is not there, meaning the gasoline prices shoots up so much that it becomes a commodity where you will have to fight. Like in case of Sri Lanka, what's the rate? My goodness, 1 liter petrol, and you have to stand in line for 4-5 hours. Look at that. If you put something like that, the fear starts. So the objective is to put that fear, a little fear. That's it. And the Sati comes. Yes, Harry.
Yeah, I think I understand why when the fear is there, it become automatic. But for you putting the fear, the virya is still needed, right? You still there be
you need to have energy. So there also you will have slacking. So you have to have a strategy for yourself. This is my strategy. You have to work out your strategy. So what works for me need not have to work for you, because some things I keep on building it up and making the mind make sure that it is able to see the fault. If it doesn't see the fault, and it will not improve. No matter how much Dhamma I read or whatever, it becomes only intellectual sight or understanding, but it really, there's no practice. Yes.
Yeah, I think I see this point. I think as soon as the mind starts to recognize that something you're doing is a hindrance to achieving your goal, the mind automatically start dropping that.
Yes.
But to make it be able to see that, it takes some work, like either contemplation or whatever.
Correct. So you need to put an initial effort, vitakka, initial thinking, initial thought. Some thought you have to bring in. That's the reason the meditation is also savitakka, savichara, piti, sukha, ekagata. Right? You have to bring in the initial thought. Fear, the best thought. Fear of death. See, what's the most important thing in life? Is death. It erases everything. Whatever I might have been the most popular person. So reflection on death brings in sila automatically. Marananusati. But that is again sati. How long will I remember about death? Oh, good. I can only remember half an hour. Fine, half an hour. Good, half an hour. Keep on remembering death, half an hour. Don't put, if I am dead now. You are not dead. But look at death. What death does to you. It will remove everything what you think you have. Yes.
So, is it meditation object itself is the death concept, or we are bringing up death concept, fear of death, and to come back to breathe, and then after a few minutes, the breathe will go, then death to bring it back.
Yes.
Or let's just practice death now.
Yeah. So what is death? The more you breathe out is death. Correct. You are born with death, and the last breath is death. So first one is birth, last one is death. So isn't it an important aspect for me to watch the breath? So much of breath is going out. Oh shit. So every time it forgets, hey, you didn't count the breath. You're going to die. You don't know how many breaths remain. Yeah. Again, it jerks itself. Oh my goodness, I shouldn't be doing it.
Actually, breathing out itself is watching death. No?
Yes.
One breath is died.
Yes, breath is dying. The breath is gone. So the life is gone. Yes, Saryu.
Yeah, I just have I'm slightly curious. You said when you bring the death contemplation, sila automatically comes. Are you talking this for everyone or only the person who has good understanding of sila? Because let's say someone who doesn't believe in afterlife and all that. Let's say, for them, does it also work or?
No, the moment he thinks, ponders on death, savitakka will become death object. Savichara becomes death. That person will shudder. No matter he doesn't believe in the rebirth, at least he will shudder that, oh shit, I will not be there.
Yeah. So everything will be meaningless now.
Yeah.
Precept is not needed. Killing is meaningless. Obviously, talking nonsense is meaningless because then you are to die. Right?
See, the moment you contemplate on death for half an hour, let's say, you have watched all the letting go of it, right? Death will make you let go of everything you have holding. I'm holding an Apple iPad. At the time of death, that iPad will fall down, right?
So it's not so much a fear of the consequence of bad deeds for these kind of people, maybe, but
Yes.
they'll start dropping things.
But that fear makes him realize the futility of life. That's sufficient. That trigger is sufficient.
What Sachin was saying something about that the precepts are not as important. What were you meaning by that?
No, he didn't say that it is not important. What he's saying is, if you break it, you bring death, and then again it gets. See, the thing is like this, Matt. If I go behind establishing Sila, that's a project. It's not a natural occurrence to me. It's like I'm seeing a mosquito. Oh shit, I just now killed it. Next time I'll not kill. I will not. I just tell lie and say, oh shit, I told a lie. Next time I will be careful. And this next time means what? It is pamada, heedlessness. Right. Next time, what will I do? Again, one more mosquito is going, and the dengue fever is there, malaria is there, that is there. So I would have read the news that Bangalore is infected with dengue. 50% of the population is suffering from dengue, and the mosquito is flying. What should I do? Should I love it, saying that, hey, my dear friend, you are by this so and so you become a mosquito. I wish that you lose your mosquito life and become a human being. No, I'm scared of life. There comes a mosquito. That's it. Over. Oh, I killed another mosquito. Oh, what is the consequence of this? So I'm very much new to Buddha Dhamma. That's it. My mind is now going between two extremes. One, to kill or not to kill. And if I kill, I become into remorse. So on one of the hindrances, remorse feeling. Right. So you tell me, safeguarding your own life, is it good or bad? It's good. I wouldn't have killed that mosquito if that guy wouldn't have been flying around me. He took chance. I didn't want to kill. Actually, I don't have an intention of killing. Because of dengue, I'm killing him. So intention is a cause of karma. I didn't have any. Over. Now I'm justified. Actually, there's nothing anybody can say that you shouldn't be killing it, because that causes dengue. What I should do? Now, this kind of establishing Sila will not work out, because it is intellectual. Now I keep on reading Panatipata, Veramani, either Pali or in English or whatever language, it is not going to work. First and foremost, I need to bring in the death as not as a concept, death as real. If birth is real, then death is the real. You have to go exactly what Buddha had done. If birth is real, death is also real. Yes, sir.
I'll play devil's advocate. Let's say someone says, I'm not afraid of death.
Fine.
Not afraid. So how do you kind of get him to see that? I mean, let's say I'm feeling that way.
Actually, I was about to tell that actually it's not a fear of death, because death itself is not fearful.
Yeah.
But since we know the Dhamma, we are wasting time. That is the fear, that we know that this action is going to get rebirth. We know how to meditate, and still we are not meditating. See, this breath we are wasting. The fear of wasting time, because death is nearing. Death itself is not fearful in that sense. to us.
Exactly. So the thing is like this. If somebody has joined today and he is he's got nothing to do with Buddha and he doesn't fear death. Okay. Then why he wants to come to Buddha Dhamma in the first place? That means he's seeing something is lacking there, right? Otherwise, why would anybody come? So the moment I'm coming into the Buddha Dhamma is to make sure that I'm missing something. See, Buddha Dhamma is not for all. That is true. Okay. Now I have got convinced, self-convinced that there is something other than what I'm doing. And if it is, then this devil advocate cannot happen, right? I don't fear death means that I am already in the Michya Ditti. Wrong view.
Yeah, I guess I was talking to someone who have Michaditi. I was kind of thinking about my mom because I was talking to her lately about meditation and all that, and then she said, I'm not afraid of death. She's in so much suffering, and death feel like a relief for her, let's say.
That's correct. So now you see that is called Uchchedavad, annihilationist approach. So if I believe in annihilation, what happens here is that I care a damn about it. See, it's not about death alone. The consequence of death, where I would be reborn. That if I were to contemplate. For that, I need to bring in the death first.
For that, first you have Shraddha in Buddha, right? Otherwise,
Yes.
whatever Buddha says, if you have no faith in Buddha,
Then it doesn't matter.
Then it doesn't matter. When you say I don't fear death, actually you don't fear death, just die. But
Nobody fears.
you have faith in Buddha. That's why you believe that Buddha said that this action leads to that birth, this action led to that. Otherwise, in this world, there is no proof that even we are going to birth.
Yep. And
Right.
another thing I was telling my wife a few days ago, whatever we call religious, actually we are not. We are actually atheist in a particular sense. In which sense are we atheist? If we were to believe, not faith, it's the belief that where this will lead to, this action of mine is going to lead to, then I'm religious. Whereas I go to a church and then I do a confession and that's it, there isn't a matter. I go to a temple and then I do some puja.
In fact, 90% of religious people, it may be Hindu, Christian, or Islam, or whatever, they, from the core of their belief, they are actually not believing that there is life after death also.
Exactly.
Even they have no guts to talk, they have no interest to talk. This is clear, but they have doubt that there is a birth after death.
Yes. So even if I were to talk to my mother-in-law, forget about anyone, as close as that, is highly ritualistic, but she's not religious. He's into Sila Bitta Paramasa. Belief in rites and rituals. That's it. You do this ritual, this will happen. You do that ritual, that will happen. You do some other ritual, that will happen. Yes.
So you're saying a lot of religious people aren't even religious. So to be truly religious, if there's a bar to me.
Yes. See, if you are religious, if somebody is religious, let's say, really religious, he would start worrying of the next life. Why? Because he wants to meet that person. See, I'll just give you an example. A live example, not a fake one. My brother-in-law and my mother-in-law, 2 days ago, they went to a temple, driving around 170 miles one side. So 340 miles taken together. Okay. They went to the temple. They stood in a line and they saw their deity and came back. Both of them if they were held like this and asked, why did you go there? They have no clue. They went there with an aspiration that their aspiration should get fulfilled. That's all. Right. So they believe not about the next life. They believe only in this life. It's highly ritualistic. And my brother-in-law is also highly ritualistic, but he doesn't believe in next life. See, Michaditi is there. Even though they are ritualistic, Michaditi is there. Why? If they believe in next life, they'll start to reflect. See, my mother-in-law is 82 now. Is she fearing death? No. Does she wants to know where she'll be reborn? She doesn't care. She thinks God will take care. See this problem. She went to meet that God, right? Like everyone, stood in the line and saw her God, who is like this painting. There is one statue of Buddha. So you stand in a line and do like this, driving 170 miles and coming back. They're very sure they're going to go there. That itself is foolishness, because en route accident can happen, tire can burst, anything can happen, and they might die. Moment. Do they believe it? No. Yes, Aryu.
I'm sorry.
And also there is a belief that God takes care of everyone.
Exactly. So it's like a blanket approval. Do whatever you want.
Yeah, but if that's their very strong belief, let's say that they're gonna be taken care of by God, is that truly religious or
no?
not?
It is not. It is not.
No.
It is not. What happens is there is a blind faith, or actually a blind belief rather than a faith. There's no experiential faith. You're not experienced anything at all. You're just feeling that you should be on this line so that I'm taken care. See, what is meaning of consequence of action? When we say ethics, ethical, even in office, when we say ethical, I'm an ethical person, meaning I believe in the consequence. Otherwise, what do you mean by ethics? Following the rule is not ethics, right? See, I need to drive on the right-hand side of the lane. That's a rule. Breaking the rule will make the police or a sheriff to come and give me a ticket. I pay the ticket and I do what I want. So I don't believe in any consequence. I pay some few dollars and that's it, over. So there's no consequence of action. What if I truly experience that driving on the left side of the road in US is going to kill me? Forget police coming and catching me. That I'm not interested. 70 miles an hour I need to drive. Okay, that's it, over. It's not a fear of the police like happens in India or in any other Southeast Asian nations, that when you see the police, you reduce the speed. Why? Because I'm non-ethical. I don't care about the consequence. I'm doing it for someone. I'm doing it for the police, not for myself. When I have an attitude that way, I'm not religious. You got the point? Yes. Yes, Aryu.
Yeah, but I thought a good amount of people who believe blindly that God will take care, they also have some fear of bad actions, right? Because their God has said don't do this.
No, they cover it up by saying that God will take care. They will start to say, okay, let's say I slap someone, and then I come up with an answer. Why did I slap? And I convince myself because he spoke something about my God, so I slapped him. So
So
because God,
to that extent, they are fearing my God have said and I should do. To that extent, it will work. To that extent.
to that extent only. So it's like this. This goes in depth, that right. So now if you really start seeing the consequence of every,
So that's what we are working, right?
yes,
We are saying fear of death, and there is no fear of death. So actually, I said fear of the consequence of death, right? So
exactly,
we are directly working on that, bringing
yes,
that fear. That guy is differently bringing that fear. That my God said what to do.
yeah. So now when I bring in consequence, whether I'm a Hindu or a Buddhist or a Christian or a Islam or whatever it is, if I bring in that consequence,
Yeah, there's a fear of God, right?
when I get into the consequence, then I know I'm missing the bus. There's always a consequence of an action. So like in office, I'm not supposed to be do forging, or I'm not supposed to take somebody's idea and put as mine, etc., etc. Out of greed, I'm putting my name. Let's say my team member has worked. I know he has worked, but I want to put my name because I'm his manager. If I had not given him the chance, how he would work? So I'll put my name. And when a time comes to say how did this whole thing go, I talk about myself. I motivated my team member, and I will ask my team member, look, if you want me to promote you, you better tell my name, right? So when his turn comes to talk about it, he'll say, I really praise my manager so and so who did so much to me. Actually, he doesn't mean anything. He's hating the whole thing, but since he's been told, it's actually orchestrated. So now you see consequence. That guy is telling lie, I'm telling lie. Both are telling lies. Because I don't believe in any consequence. What if I'm very much concerned about the consequence? That brings in sila automatically. You just bring in a concern. You don't have to work out on the sila. Just a genuine concern whether this action of mine is good or bad. And that's it. I don't have to memorize all the sila.
Concern is right word than fear.
Yeah. So if I bring in that concern, that what will happen with my action, I don't have to memorize and say that, oh, panati pata veramani sikka padam samadhiyami, and that another guy will say, no, you didn't stretch it in the proper way. It's not like that. It is panati pata veramani. Hey, you're singing. No. That is how Buddha taught. Who cares? No, you're not supposed to kill. Whether you say that in English or French or German or Hebrew or Kannada or Gujarati or whatever language, it doesn't matter. The consequence, the concern. If I did not get life myself on my own accord, that means I can't own anything. When I was born, my parents were there. I don't know how I was born. In the same way that ant or mosquito or whatever it is, they also don't know how they are born. So I can't take I can't take anybody's life because I'm not the owner of it. When I can't own anything, how can I take something which is not owned by me? So it takes two of the precept without doing nothing about it. One is killing and one is stealing. When this body is not mine, how can I steal anything of anybody's? And this body itself is not mine. So that is a wisdom I get. So the consequence, keep on working on the consequence. Sila automatically comes. And when the sila comes, it brings in two friends with it. On 1 second. One friend is Sati, another friend is Virya, energy. To kick that out. Yes, Matt.
Okay, so say regarding the precepts when you're supposed to focus on the consequences, do you do say something that will actually happen in this lifetime or
Yeah, in this
in the
lifetime also.
rebirth?
In this lifetime, let's say I'm caught stealing. Then the consequence. When I'm caught keeping the signal. I'm caught. And then what I'm supposed to do? I'm supposed to pay $100. I don't care. Fine. Fine. Keep on looking at it. The consequence, and consequence. Am I not making the government rich by giving $100 every time I'm caught? So I can start working that way also. Even if I'm a non-believer, I can start to think, am I not stupid that every time I need to pay $100 by just skipping the signal? Okay, I don't have to. Why? I could gift myself $100. Why should I gift the police? So I slowly withdraw, right? I might not be a religious person. I might be just a normal person, but still I start thinking of consequence. It starts to bring in morality automatically. Consequences bring in morality. Yes, Ari.
Yeah, I think that makes a lot of sense, because some suttas that really help my sila is the Dvaita Vitakka Sutta, right? Where Buddha taught you to hurt others, hurt yourself, and it will not lead to Nibbana. And when the mind sees that, it wants to drop that. And also probably why you promoted the Ducharita Vitakka Sutta, right?
Yes, the consequence. It's all about consequence.
Yeah, and for my example, I think the other day when Sachin said one thing about, he said the pranayama without brahmacharya is like it's like a physical exercise.
Yeah.
So that shocked my mind. So since that day, I never had thoughts about masturbation. That immediately got cut. Because that becomes so stupid. Like, why would I do all this?
Yeah, sometimes some sentence hit you. Even I don't. It might not.
Yeah. You said that. You said it's like a,
yeah. So now you see, Aryu, what Sachin said, whether he meant it or he didn't mean it, but you took the consequence of it. What's the point in doing pranayama if my objective is just to do an exercise? So just an exercise. So brahmacharya, if I were to say, it's just an exercise, who cares? But I want to be brahmacharya. Then stop this. So the consequences seen, the mind will withdraw immediately. You will never get even a single thought. Yes, go ahead.
No, I think he meant if you do pranayama, do all those without also having not masturbation and all that, then it's pointless. Basically, I see. Yeah, okay. So that's how
I got it. See, what is brahmacharya without being really a celibate? Meaning you're doing pranayama and all that to increase your energy. And if you're losing your energy, what's the point? Right? See, you have to bring in some words like this. Consequence, what's the point? Why am I doing this? These things will trigger. It will shake the mind from what it is doing. What's the point? What's the point? What's the point? What's the point? Why should I watch the breath? What's the point? Just check. It will give you the answer then and there. Mind is very sharp. Give it a good item. It will be on it. You don't have to force it. Hey, mind, look at this. It'll never do. So we shouldn't be establishing sila as a project. It will fail. Because it's by nature doesn't want to do anything. Right? You're bringing something which doesn't even exist. So it asks question. Okay, tell me this. Little bit of lie is always good, right? For doing something good, you have to lie something. Which work is not is like this. That means I will not be paid. Every job is like that. Then what will I eat? Yeah, that's right. But here is the answer to it. Ask, what's the point? What's the point of working? And when you're caught, that will not happen. So this mental debate, that is Dvaita Vitakka Sutta. You always get 2 points. I will do this, I will not do that. I'll do this, I'll do that. So the only way you can get rid of this is consequence. Yes, sir. Go ahead.
Yeah, I think this is how in many sutta or many teaching is kind of similar structure. First, you see the drawbacks and the mind start giving it up. But once it's established, let's say not lying is established, and from that you're benefiting from it. Now you're getting this very good, let's say, what's the word? You have no guilt, right? Whatever you go, there's no guilt there, so you feel very relieved. So the mind now is enjoying the relief, and it will never give it up. So even without the fear and all that, it doesn't want to give up this. So now it's automatic. It
Yes,
becomes.
exactly.
So fear is for the initial kick only.
Yes. Once you get it, you don't have to keep on making it fear. It is always there. It will never shake up. And that's the reason Buddha said,
The best example is that police guy not giving a ticket, but giving a ticket for speeding over. So because of the fear of ticket, you will always keep looking at the speed.
correct.
So that mindfulness has been built out of fear.
Yeah. So the basic thing why we have rules and regulation is to incite fear. That means if you want to discipline the mind, you can only discipline it by giving fear. You can't discipline the mind by saying that, hey, now you go and grace whatever you want. It's been doing that.
That is animal nature. No? Fear is the only the factor to move you. All animals work based on fear. We are also animal in that sense.
So, first thing on my Sila Samadhi Panya, have Samadhi. It's not convincing that you have to be in Samadhi. It's about losing Samadhi. See, you have to always make mind to say what you're going to lose. Otherwise, it doesn't. Mind is something which has greed inside it, or not greed, desire inside it. Chanda mulaka avuso sabbe dhammas. The chanda, interest is always going to be there. Even for Nibbana, you should have interest. So you as mind should be interested in letting go to get something. I'm holding a hot iron, thinking that it is not hot. So because I'm used to it. Somebody has to say that, hey, you're holding iron. No. No, I'll tell you what is iron. What is iron? What is hot iron? Iron is this, hot iron is this. It's burning, see? Shit. Now it will never hold. Because it has got something else now. It has got a relief. So the Nibbana is a relief. It will not hold any one of these. Till the time.
Yeah. That's why you rightly said that word. Fear, losing Samadhi. So this works for me actually. Fear of losing Samadhi.
So you need to bring losing. You're a loser. And that's it. You'll fight back. No, I'm not a loser. These are the strategies. You're a loser. You're going to lose. You're going to be reborn in hell. No, I don't want to be. And then it want to be, but you just now did. You just now did. And then that fear starts trembling. Now you might ask a question. What if he dies and then he's reborn there? So be it. Right? See, it's hitting the mind where it does something. Yes, sir, you go ahead.
Yeah, I was reminded of, I was reading the Ajahn Chah's book, right? He said, you should wake up as soon as you get up. He said, just say count to 10 or count to 3. If you did not wake up, I will go to hell. And then say, I will go to hell if I count to 5 and not wake up. And then you will wake up. So for me, I don't think I want to use that strong, but I will say my meditation will suck if I don't wake up at 10 count. So that wakes me up.
So always 2 things will work for the mind. One, the death, Maranana Sati. Okay? It's going to work. Wonders. 2, losing something. To gain something, you have to lose something, right? Now, Nibbana is a Paramasukha. Why don't you lose this? Makes sense. This is Dukkha, right? Yes. Have you seen the Dukkha? Yes. You know the reason for Dukkha? Yes. Do you want to get relief from Dukkha? Yes. It's only the mind which is doing it. So how you position it is left to you. It doesn't want suffering. No mind would love suffering. And none of us would love to have suffering in the first place. Because we all minds only. Only in mind you suffer. First you have to bring in this object of suffering and showing to the mind this suffering. Then it asks, why am I suffering? No sila. Who says I do all this? So there will be mental chatter. That is going to be there. Veda Vitakka is going to be there. Two kind of thoughts. Then prudence or discrimination here is to make it lose or make it understand what it is losing so that it gives up. But one good thing about the mind, once it gives up, it gives up. There's no going back. That's the strength of the mind. Mental strength is, it gives up, it is convinced. If it has got sold on that, that's it. It will never return back. That's the reason Buddha says, you will never return back to that state of existence. Why?
Yeah, but that is a rare phenomenon. Minds understood. Like you said, he understood when I said that.
So you had to like now Aryu will be having fear in his mind. He doesn't have to create fear. He will have fear in his mind that no sexual thought has to come. And it will never come. Now, even if he tries forcefully, I need to have sexual thought.
Yeah, that night I had a dream, right? I think the night after, like a few nights after, I think the night I met you, Sachin, after you told me, I think I was trying to practice this no masturbation thing, and that night I had a dream. I just had a few sensual thoughts, and then boom, it came. And I was all over the place. I was like, what the heck? And I was so upset. So I think that the mind is automatically trying to caution me not to have those thoughts.
Yes, exactly. So the mind has a strength. If it is convinced, that's it. No turning back.
But what about so many people, they seem to fear the consequence, but whenever they get a chance, they take the chance. So they don't really believe it, right? They're opportunistics. They don't truly believe there's a natural consequence. They believe only if someone catches them, there's a consequence.
No, they are
So
not
what about
convinced.
Ignorance also works. They are fully not convinced. Yesterday, this happened to me. I was reading newspaper. There was a news of someone raping some child. Okay. I read that, but when I asked why did I read, I didn't find any good answer. There is no point, right? Someone is raping someone. Why do you need to know the story of it? So reading in that story itself, my mind was trying to entertain some. I realized that this is clueless, pointless news. It's just the title is sufficient. Why I went inside and read the full story?
Yeah. So
that was ignorance. I know that I'm not supposed to do this, but this is not that, right? Someone is doing to someone. I'm sure I'm protecting this all, but it's bullshit. I'm reading because I'm interested.
see, Aryu, 99% of the time we are not convinced. If you are convinced, like now, Aryu, if you're convinced that you shouldn't bring in masturbation, you're really convinced deep inside, you will never be able to perform it, no matter whatever it is. It just walks away. You can't. Try it out. You will never be able to do it. You can't. And that is how the Buddha Dhamma is. Once your conviction takes over, that's it. You will never. And that's the reason he says defilements ended. You will come to know. Nobody needs to come and tell you, Vilas, your defilements have ended. You yourself will come to know. And you yourself know that the defilements are there. And you yourself will come to know that you're an arhat. You yourself will come to know you're a sakadagami or anagami or whatever that is. You don't have to go and ask anyone.
Yeah, that's that. I feel like lately, sometimes this thought will come to me, and then I sometimes would some scene will trigger me, remind me of this act. Used to, whenever these thoughts come, they pull me very strongly. I feel pulled. I have to, work against it. But recently, I feel like there's no pull. I feel like it doesn't pull me toward that.
It doesn't.
So
See, simple thing is, if you are convinced, right? If you're seeing genuinely the concern, if you have got convinced that what you should be doing is how it should be done, like what Sachin said, that words, and hit you, the defilements have ended. That defilement is ended. Now what it means is, you can't trigger it again. It doesn't come on the surface. He has spoken simple English. He didn't complicate it, but it hit you like a slap. And with that, so many things went out. I said, oh, yeah, makes sense. It's not an exercise. Over. You don't have to read the Dhamma for this, meaning some 20 suttas and recitation and this and that and all that. One word from Sachin. That's it. Over. Now Sachin had to put himself, why it didn't work for me? I only said it worked for Eriu. Maybe I'll have to ask Eriu, hey, come on, repeat back to me so that it hits me. Need not be, right? It need not be. So certain words,
even it will not work again if I speak to Eriu.
Yeah, it wouldn't. That moment. That's the reason. Because whether you're listening to Ajahn Chah, you're listening to whoever you're listening to, the first time it hits you, let's say it hits you, and that's it. Next time you listen to it, no feeling, because it's already hit you. That defilement is gone. You don't have to keep on putting some detergent to clean it. It's already cleaned. There's nothing you can do about it. It's cleaned. So let's say I have this defect of touching females, which area you have seen anyway. I have a defect. Let's say that way. Let's take it that way. Now, suddenly I see a corpse while touching. All of a sudden, I see the corpse. There is a shudder. I don't have to do the charnel ground meditation. I don't have to do Asubha Sanya. I don't have to do particular Manasikara. I don't have to do Dhatu Vibhanga. All of that. Just saw the corpse. And I stand in front of the mirror. I see this as a corpse. Fear grips it. My God. Strange. And I see everywhere corpse. Finished. No girl, no human, nothing exists now. All that I see is corpse. How did I see? Ajahn Chah was talking, or Katukurande Jnanananda was talking, or some other guy was talking, some other Bhante was talking, or Vimala Ramsi was talking, or Punnaji was talking, or that one, that video, and this sutta, or this book, or that book. I saw the corpse. That's all what was required. Defilements ended. Of that defilement, what? Touching ended. Now, Ari, what is going to happen? Next time we come to India, okay, I touch the same girl. Will I touch? Is the question. When you come to India, you seeing me touching the girl and you feeling upset, so I will not touch. You see this point? I'll say, oh, you will not like. So when that girl comes and sit next to me, I say, no, I want to go to the side. Why? I want to touch her, but because of Ariu, I have idea of not touching. What if I see the corpse? It doesn't matter whether Ariu comes or anybody comes. I am seeing corpse. Yes, are you good?
I was thinking maybe a question to bring it back to topic a little bit. So if somehow I got this fear of, or I see the dukkha of the sense going out to the sense object, if I truly see the dukkha in that, and I don't know, fear or seem tiring of that, then immediately, like the sense stop going out, basically.
Yes,
For
yes, yes.
let's say that's anagami, or the Sampajañña will be there and all that.
Yeah, see, whatever we want to call, it's like this. When you see in the mind with its five senses, mind is convinced that what it's doing is wrong, and it has seen the consequence by itself, then you don't have to do anything beyond that, because it has become the preacher. So you don't have to preach the preacher. What's the point in preaching a preacher? He's already got converted. It's like converting a converted, right? He's already converted. Hey boss, you need to convert. Hey boss, I'm already converted. I agree. I know. Then that will not come. If it is coming, it's because I have not got converted. Meaning I've not got convinced about it. I am convinced as a knowledge base, but I am not convinced on the consequence. So basically, why Buddha asked people to go to the charnel ground is to really see what is a body. It's ultimately a corpse. Whether today or tomorrow is a corpse. Without consciousness, it's a corpse. So you keep on practicing. It's a corpse. Not reciting. Practicing. A corpse. This body is a corpse. This is already a corpse. Just a matter of time. So, that being the case, what will happen? You will get it. Like what you got with Sachin. Sachin is not a Bhante, but he gave you a slap. He's not a Bhante. He's a normal person like you and me. But it worked for you.
That's why Ajahn Chah in the article you share was so harsh with all those students. Keep on saying such harsh things. So maybe it'll click in some of them to make
Yes,
them.
absolutely, absolutely. See, I used to be upset with you some time ago, right? You, me and Chirag. That day you say, I got it. I just withdrew. Nowadays, I'm not even showing my frustration on you or whatever, because you said I got it. Okay, fine. When I twisted you like this, I got it. Okay. Why I should keep on twisting you? Not required, right? No point. So now if you have observed me, Aryu, I'm not even showing my upset or whatever. I'm relaxed. Because you got it.
But also you said, once I got it, you feel relieved. So naturally, if you feel relieved.
That's a relief, right? See, I am getting so much worked up on why you are not getting it. Now that you said I got it, that's a relief to me, right? That's even Ajahn Chah in that book, he says that these students of mine torture me, because he has to basically do a lot of things to them. Anyway, coming back to this topic, Sila, I don't have to practice. I need to only know the consequence. That's it. I shouldn't be practicing Sila like a formal thing. Sit down straight. Yes, sir, I've sat. Now, close your eyes. Now recite. Panati Pata Veram. That is not going to help. Consequence of bad action, bad result. Consequence of good action, good result. Keep on making that in the mind. Slowly, without your knowledge, you would have picked up on the Sila. Even there were 100 Sila, you will pick up all 100. Not those 5. If there were 100. Vinaya is taught in that way actually. You get Vinaya on your own. It's not that you have to sit and read each one of those Patimokka items. It's not going to work. Vinaya is automatic. Discipline is automatic. Why? Because mind sees the defect of not doing it. So it just withdraws.
Be kicked out of the Sangha.
Yes. It will see. Oh, no, I will not. I don't have to. So there's no convincing required. So, little bit of Sati will bring him more of Sila. And when the Sila get established automatically, consequence, the Sati is always there. Now, with Sati, Sampajañña is the ultimate outcome, which makes you be aware of everything. Pajanana, that is knowing the beginning, middle, and the end, becomes a normal process in the Sampajañña. Yes, Hari.
Yes, wait,
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, Sachin, go ahead.
See, this fear, okay, I will not do this. Fear will enable me to not do this. Now I am totally free. I have full day, nothing else to do. That's why, because I am free, I will be watching breath. Or is there any advantage for me in watching the breath and continuing with breath? Because, okay, this I will not do because it is a bad, this, that. But what is good in this? Watching breath or watching whatever or continuing the Sati?
See, thing is like
the
this.
Pajanana. Now tell me the interest of Pajanana.
Tell you what?
Okay, the interest, why should I do Pajanana? Okay, I will not do this. But why I will do this?
Okay, so there are two ways of dealing with this. First way of dealing it is, why should I know something, even worldly? Because I need to know. It can be anything, including that somebody raped a child. You want to know. This knowing is part of it. Whether for whatever reason, right? Knowing is part of it. That means Pajanana is something which is there with us. Janana, to know. And we are inquisitive to know. We are eager to know, or we are excited to know. Put it in whatever language you want. But we want to know. Everything. Worldly,
we want to know.
Worldly,
curiosity is our inherent nature.
Yes. Being curious. Like, are you saying to me all the time, I'm curious. I'm just curious. I'm just curious. I'm just curious. That curiosity is going to be there for every being.
And that's why I also told you that day. Okay, for watching breath, you build the curiosity in the breath instead of something else.
Yes. So now, curiosity is going to be there. What can I do with curiosity? I can use it for destructive purposes. I can use it for constructive purposes. Okay. When I come to Buddha Dhamma, I need to be curious of what? Actions that I need to perform. So one of the...
So let me reiterate it. So to know is my nature. Knowing is the inherent nature of myself. So this don't. It's not important. So I direct myself, my knowingness toward something which I have predefined. Breathe.
Yes. So why breath? Because do I know the breath? You have to ask the question like that. Do I know the breath? Okay, no. Why I should know? Because breath equals life. Put that. As much as you breathe, so much life is gone. Yes or no? And you see this. Mind, if it really picks up, like what you gave it to Ariu, it picks up. You don't have to watch the breath. It will do by itself. Now, wait. I'm saying we should be seeing beginning, middle, end. It's an activity. When we give mind an activity, it only stays for a little time because the focus is going to be there for little time because it's an activity. And it wants some congratulation. Hey, you did a good job. 10 minutes. Yeah, 10 minutes. 20 minutes. Wow, 20 minutes. 1 hour. I sat for 1 hour. Not stupid. You've been sitting forever, from the time you're born. What's so great about it? Either you're sitting, you're standing, you're walking, or you're sleeping. These four you've been doing all the time. Meaning you are not doing, your body is doing. When it sees like that, yeah. So what's great about it? Do I know? Yes, this point I don't know. Yes, I don't know. I should know. I should know how am I breathing. That interest, chanda, will cut out everything at once.
But why you should continuously know?
No, there's nothing of continuously knowing. See, when you put something like that, it again an activity. So then question comes, what will I get? Okay, if I watch for 1 hour, what will I get? There's no absolute answer to that. What will you get? 100 things you can get. Yes, sir. You.
Yeah, I feel like one downside of not watching the breath for me is that, let's say I saw this article that you saw, Sachin, and I read it. I know I become afraid that it's going to come to my meditation as a hindrance. I know it's going to come as a hindrance. So if I'm not watching the breath, then I may get trapped into this hindrance and I'm bringing suffering upon myself. So on that aspect, I should be watching.
Yeah. So I need, just like I want to know a software program, I want to know this, I want to know that, I want to know that, and I want to know that. I should also I need to know the breath. Because why? Not about supernormal powers. Being born is breath, being death is breath. Shouldn't I know? How many breaths remain? Shouldn't I know or not? Oh shit, I have lost so much of breath. Oh, let me watch. Now you see, mind will keep on watching it, irrespective whether you want to watch it or you don't want to watch it. It will be watching. It becomes a habit for it because it fears. All this while, it was not sure. Now it knows. Shit. If I am breathing only, I am alive, right? Any animal or any human being fallen on the road, you first see whether he is breathing or not. So you don't have to convince I don't have to convert that person. It's already converted. It knows that if there's no breath for a minute, yes, sir.
Yeah, I don't know if Matt is there, but I'm curious what strategy Matt uses when established this constant awareness of breath. Because Matt was able to do it. Maybe.
Matt is there. He is a just do person.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's really kind of, I thought mine was motivation. Because one time I heard this discourse by Ajahn Chah too. Like he said, you could beat your chitta in submission. And it's like almost force it to do it by putting so much effort. And I was just so determined to get it.
Yep. So whether you use Ajahn Chah, Ajahn Mun, or anyone, it doesn't matter. Sayadaw.
So what he's saying is, he initially put lot of effort, and now it become automatic.
Yes. So there are two strategies.
And now I don't know how it works, but it works.
Yeah, it works. See, there are again two strategies. I am a very lazy bum person. I need motivation. If I am such a person, one who gives me such kind of motivation, like Ajahn Chah or Lady Sayadaw or some other person, like Uba Khin or Goenka or whatever it is, who can slap me and say, "Hey, what are you doing?" Sir, I will do it. Why? Because I'm a lazy guy. If I'm already a motivated person, I don't require any one of these teachers because I'm already converted. Once you are converted, I mean, once you're convinced, that's it. You've done it. So in the case of Matt, Ajahn Chah's something worked for him. He hit it. Yes. And now he doesn't have to put effort. What's the breath? So the difference between Ariu and Matt is that Matt doesn't have to put effort and Ariu has to put effort. Now when Ariu puts effort, it's an effort. It's an activity. So for Aryu requires motivation, some gadget, something to say, hey, you're doing good. Why? He's not convinced. The gadgets are required when I'm not convinced. I'm doing it as an activity. Should I sit for half an hour meditation? Yeah, morning half an hour, just like taking tablets. You want to get good health, half an hour morning, half an hour in the evening. So it's an activity, right? And you see this problem. If you don't do it for one day, what's going to happen? Nothing. Okay, I just skipped it. So what? Tomorrow I will do it. Why? There's no consequence to that. And then I will say, Vilas, tell me one thing. I'm not able to watch the breath. Give me something else. Okay, take this ball. Okay, I'll play with the ball. Hey, Vilas, I'm stuck with the ball. I don't find anything. Give me something else. Yes, take a balloon. Balloon. Then after a few days, hey, I'm stuck with this balloon. Then give me something else. Take this rod. Okay, I'm playing with the rod. So I'm a child playing with different toys. I'm getting bored with each one of these toys. Ultimately, every toy is a boring game. So watching breath is boring. Why? Because there's nothing in that. Give me something which gives me excitement. Yes.
Actually, the subtle point that probably some guys may not understand is what even Matthew is not able to define is he found the place from where you can see the
Yes.
breath. The place from where you can see the breath, we are not catching. He is not able to define it, but he has found a place from where he can see the breath. Actually, I also got it when this Jnanamoli Bhikkhu said, just body is, just be aware of that body is. And I thought it is very easy to do. And even subtle than I am, just be aware, I am. Even that is more easy to do. So from the place of subtle, like I am, and breathe is, just that much is sufficient. Otherwise,
Yes.
if you find a place, you can put yourself, and from that place, if you see the breath, then it will kick you.
Yeah, whatever it is, you should be an observer. Say, ultimate aim is to be an observer. If the moment you get that, you're done. Aryu, the first time I got this was on the same, the bean bag. I was sitting, just started watching the breath. Got it. What? Nothing. Breath didn't go anywhere. I was watching the breath. That excitement. Stayed. Not that
Otherwise, what will happen? The quality of breath will define quality of meditation. That is not right?
Yes.
So if my breath is I'm not able to breathe, that means I am not able to meditate. That is wrong equation.
Yes.
I may have some problem in breathing. That means my meditation is, I am stuck with meditation.
Correct.
So that is wrong. That means observing breath is not defined by quality of breath.
Exactly.
Observing of breath must be defined by quality of observation.
Yes, it's nothing to see. If I have a sinus problem, both of my nostrils are blocked. So what I should do then? Don't do meditation for another few days. Oh, good. Why? Objective is to watch the breath. Do it. Okay. When I get ready, then I will watch. Yeah. Till then, enjoy. That's not meditation. Anyway, hey, I need to go. It's already 10:11 here. But conclusion. Yes, Aryu.
Matt seems a bit sleepy. I think he's not getting good sleep lately.
Yeah. You please sleep. Okay, good then. So conclusion here is first Pajanana, to know. That gives you excitement of knowing the starting, middle, end. For that, Sati will start to develop, and then it brings on to Sampajañña, which is knowing oneself in every posture.
Sampajañña happens when the five senses are not going
Withdrawn.
up.
Withdrawn.
True.
Okay, so good night to both of you. And Matt, sorry to keep you for a long.
Nope. Thank y'all. You have a good night
Get a
or a
good
good day.
Yep.
Get a good
Sati,
rest,
bye-bye.
Matt.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye bye. Bye bye.